Hi everyone! Today I'm doing a Marvel graphic novel review. On the weekend, maybe before the weekend, I actually can't remember when I last went to the library. It wasn't long ago though. I picked up 3 Marvel graphic novels, which I put my June TBR, knowing that I would be able to get through them really quick. I read graphic novels so unbelievably fast, I just enjoy them so much. And I've finished all 3 now, so I'm going to do a complete review of the 3. First up was Defenders, Diamonds Are Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Angela, and Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing that name right. Anyway, I'm going to start with the Guardians of the Galaxy Angela, because this is volume 2. Volume 1 is Cosmic Avengers, which you can see advertised in here, which I read a couple of years ago, I think. No, it must be longer than that. I'd just seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. There we go. Anyway, in that, Iron Man decides he's going to go and see space for a bit and actually assess what the threats are to Earth out there and if there's anything he can do to make sure Earth is going to be safe in the future. He meets the Guardians, they end up teaming up, and it follows a whole spiel of things that go on with that. But following events from in there, this set of comics turns up. Now, because it's a sequel, I can't really tell you too much, but the beauty of Marvel Comics is they kind of do stand alone on their own. You don't necessarily have to have read everything beforehand to know what's going on. There are allusions to things that have happened in the past, but you can be filled in quite easily. Angela is well, we don't know what she is. Apparently she's an angel from heaven. But not as in heaven that we know it as. Well, maybe. We're not sure yet. But she's coming to our universe. Something has happened, which Peter Quill felt and he's aware of. And it's caused Angela to appear. Now, as you could probably guess by the way the Guardians do stuff, things don't start off really well between them and her, but it settles down quite well. And she's quite a sympathetic character. She just wants to know why she's suddenly somewhere that she doesn't know, that she's on her own, that she feels that something is wrong. And I found her actually quite a likeable character. I understood her motives and where she was coming from. Quite sure about her dress code, you know, it's not what I would have picked, but there we go. But it kind of makes sense for her character that we find out later on, but even so, men, girls don't like wearing that sort of thing. Please sort it. The artwork is very clear, it's easy to follow, it's nice, straightforward. Everybody retains their recognisable facial features, which is brilliant. And it flows really well, particularly when Gamora's battling somebody. You really feel each movement of her fight and how she fights. It's got a real flow considering it's just panel work. Really well done. Each of the main Guardians is all represented there. I particularly like Groot because obviously I'm Groot. But Rocket and him have this great cliquey relationship. It's carried on nicely in this series, which is brilliant. Peter Quill, he's not the Peter Quill that you know from the movies. He's more the comic book Peter Quill. But he has certainly got that kind of 80s retro drive to him. He's very much the fish out of water. He's the Earthman. But he's also got a lot more going on in this series. There's a lot more to him. He's been through quite a few damaging things now. So he's not the Peter Quill that Chris Pratt is. This is another slight side to his character, and it's interesting to see that slightly different point of view. Gamora in here, she's quite a complex character, as Gamora is. Obviously, she was the daughter of Thanos for many, many years. So we see that side to her as well, and how she's dealing with the consequences of her past, of who she was and who she fought with. So I found that very interesting. I also really like her costume in this. I think it just says badass all over, but I'm really liking that. But Guardians of the Galaxy Angela, read Cosmic Avengers first, just so you're into the series and you know your characters, because like I said, they are slightly different from the ones that we know from the movies, and just go from there. So I now need to get my hands on, as far as I can work out, part 3 of this series, which is the Trial of Jean Grey, which is a Guardians and X-Men crossover. Yeah, it's all going in the Marvel Universe these days. Right, the next 2 graphic novels are both first in the series. So I haven't read anything previous about these guys. I don't really know much about them, to be honest. So I've picked these up for 2 main reasons. Spider-Man, I keep hearing so much about Miles' version of Spider-Man, how wonderful he is, how cool he is, how groundbreaking he is. And Volume 1 is finally in my library, so I've picked it up. Miles is a teenager. He's got all the issues of being a teenager at high school. Girl issue, grade issue, balancing his teenage life with his superhero identity. And it's all very well reflected in here. He's got a family that is really supportive, except for when his grades fail. And then grandmother shows up. I really didn't like his grandmother. Really, really didn't like her at all. She was horrible, but that's me. He's got a cool best friend who obviously knows his secret identity, which is quite good. But I also like the fact that him and his mate, they're not perfect. They're not clicky all the time. That they do have differences of opinions and different issues going on in their lives. So I thought that was quite well developed throughout this comic. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in New York. You know, New York is where all the superheroes are and all the super baddies are. So there's a lot of that going on. So obviously Miles will rub shoulders with the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Black Cat is in here, Hammerhead's in here, who I only discovered from the other comic book I've got on my lap. So I do like the way the Marvel Universe really ties together. I think that's pretty cool. And I think a sign of its confidence that it believes in its readers, just be able to go, right, this comes in from over here and that's been going on over there and this is how it affects this. So I really enjoyed that. But I would say Miles as Spider-Man, he's really likeable. He is your neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. And I really liked him. He's got some differences to the Peter Parker Spider-Man that most of us know really well. He's got some tricks up his sleeves that were quite a nice surprise. And I haven't read anything about Miles before. I don't know anything about really where he's come from. I knew he was an alternative Spider-Man that was so popular they kept. So there's something to do with the Secret War series. So Miles comes from an alternative Earth and somehow he's come to ours. But I didn't need to know any of that to enjoy this series. If you wanted to experience a comic book series and really didn't know where to start, I'm going to suggest this one. Most people have heard of Spider-Man. Most people know what Spider-Man is, what he stands for. This is a great jumping on point for a complete novice in the comic book world. Spider-Man is one of the best Marvel characters. He is clean cut. You know where you stand with him. And he's a kid. So he's fun. He's learning all the time. There's a lot to go on with him. And this comic certainly highlights all those aspects that we know of Spider-Man, while giving us a very engaging person in Miles and his world around him. And I'm really looking forward to reading more about this chap. So finally, The Defenders Diamonds Are Forever. As I said, it's a volume 1 in the series. I really liked the Defenders series on Netflix. Yeah, I'm going to be controversial now and say I don't like Daredevil. I don't hate it, I just find it a bit hard to watch. It's a bit too dark and gritty for me. I really like Jessica Jones though, on the other hand. Really enjoyed that. Luke Cage, I've managed about 3 episodes of it. It's just not for me. I don't know if it's the style or the language or just, you know, the character maybe. It doesn't click for me, which is a shame because I know it's been very well received and a lot of people like Luke Cage. Sorry, I don't. And here's the big controversial one. I like Iron Fist. Sorry. I found it fun. I found it engaging. I just enjoyed it. It was quite light compared to the rest of the Netflix universe. So it worked for me. So when we got Defenders last year, I was like, well, that's brilliant. That's 4 strong characters, because I can't deny that Luke Cage and Matt Murdock are both strong characters. So to have all 4 together working as a team, oh yeah, the fun, some of the darkness, some of the grittiness, some of the mood, all brought together, and it mixed pretty well. I really enjoyed it. I know others don't. That's fine. You're allowed not to like what I like. That's cool. But I like it. And so I saw this and I thought, well, why not? Let's give it a go. And actually, it's pretty good. I know a lot of people who don't like Iron Fist and managed to really enjoy this. I was like, fine, okay. But I like the mix that these 4 guys get. You're introduced to them very straightforwardly. You'll have like introduction panels like this, so you have some idea of who they're talking about. And they really blend well together as a team because they are different, because they've all got their personal issues going on. They sort of bounce off each other, and I think it helps each other as well. What I did like about this series was the artwork. Again, was very, very good. Each character had their own identity. They didn't vary from panel to panel. And the fight scenes in here, again, they're beautifully done. From panel to panel, you can feel the action in them. You feel the intensity in some of the fight scenes, particularly Daredevil's scenes. Really well done. And again, the Marvel Universe is drawn together in this. We meet characters from other comic book series within the Marvel Universe, and they just seamlessly fit in. Like I say, New York. Who would want to live in this New York? Because it's full of superheroes and supervillains. You can't go around the corner without bumping into one or the other. It's quite amazing. But whereas Miles's New York is quite clean and bright, the Defenders universe of New York, you see the darker side, the grittier side to it. And that's quite nice, being able to see the 2 parts of New York in the Marvel Universe put together, as it were, if you read more than one type of comic. And certainly the Defenders one does a really good job of showing just how deep that darkness within New York goes, just how wild the wild side is in this city. And the fact that these 4 people stand up to say, no, we're going to protect. You know, we are not letting this slide because we can do something about it and we're stronger together. And I really like that aspect. It does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm going to have to try and find the second one in the series, which I think that's it. I think there's only 2 volumes in this series. It was like cancelled really quick kind of thing. So I'll be interested to see if it wraps up or how it sort of folds up together, because there's a lot going on here. There is an overarching arc going on that involves Luke Cage's background. And because I don't know much about these characters other than from what I've seen on the TV show, I'm picking it up as I go. But at no point did I ever feel lost while reading this comic. They do a really good job of giving those back histories and the storylines that perhaps we haven't been privy to beforehand, or we haven't had the opportunity to brush up yet or do our research. So again, I find that really, really refreshing in the comic world, that you can pick up an issue and just get on with it. You don't need to go and read 600 issues of back history. So they are my Marvel graphic novel reviews. Please let me know if you've read any of these 3. What did you think of them? What did you particularly like about them? I've tried to keep them fairly spoiler free because I think that's fair. I am now going to try and see if I can find the other ones that follow on. I certainly know that the Guardians of the Galaxy one is in my main library, so I will go and pick that up. And yeah, what other graphic novels do you think I should give a go? Please, try and give me one that is like a start of a story arc or introduction of characters or a storyline. But ones that you think do a good job of going to a complete stranger and saying, look, you can read this and you're not going to get lost. You don't need the backstory. It's okay. You'll manage with this. So if you've got any graphic novels along those kind of lines, that kind of criteria, please let me know what they are. I don't do excessive gore and horror, please. So, you know, Walking Dead, as marvellous as that might be, I will not be touching that at all because no. But yeah, so there you go. Leave your suggestions down below in the comments box. That'd be lovely. Thank you very much. As always, my social media links are in the description box. Goodreads, Twitter and Instagram. Come and say hi. And my book blog's down there somewhere as well. I will be doing more reviews on there. So if you don't see a review of a book I've mentioned up on my channel, please check out my blog because some reviews will be down there. If you're wondering where my May wrap-up has got to, it's on my book blog this month. I was going to do a video and then I kind of decided against it because I didn't have some of the books. And then I just thought, actually, no, I've got enough with the TBR. So wrap-up is on my blog, as are other ramblings to do with books. As always, thank you very much for watching and happy reading. Bye.